before we fix the tiles to the wall, let's take a moment to unpack all the tiles that you think you're going to need and then check them for defects, and also mix them up as you stack them to one side.
I understand why you'd want to check the tile for defects, but why do you have to mix them up?
To minimise any problems through subtle differences in shading. It's not so important for white tiles like these, but with coloured tiles it could make a difference.
Right, I see.
And of course, if you're working on a finished floor, like we are, then you need to protect the floor with dust sheets, like we have here.
Okay. Right, well, I'm ready to start.
Start against the battens here. Put on your protective gloves. And now, scoop out some adhesive onto the end of the notched spreader like this, and spread it across the wall. Work away from the vertical batten and apply the adhesive with vertical and then horizontal strokes, holding the spreader at an angle of about 45 degrees. Apply no more than about 1 square metre at a time, depending on the size of your tiles, or the adhesive may go hard before you apply all the tiles. It's important to use a notched spreader, as the ridges of adhesive made by the notched spreader ensure that there is just the right amount of adhesive behind each tile. They'll be sure to lie flat this way. The notch sizes in a wall tiling spreader are smaller than those for floor tiles, so make sure you have the right spreader. If you're using a combination spreader with both notch sizes, then make sure you use the correct side. It's a messy job, so keep a damp sponge or cloth handy and wipe up as you go along. Right, that's a good area to start with. Place the first tile into the corner made by the two battens. The tile should lie against the battens and press it firmly in place. Now, place a tile above and to the side of the first and press them into place. Now's the time to insert the spacers into the corners of the tiles and adjust the tile positions as necessary. There are two ways of using spacers. Either bury them into the corners like this and grout over, or simply insert one leg of the spacer between the two tiles like this and pull it out once the adhesive is set. When you're working against the battens, you will need to press the leg of a spacer between the tiles. If you're placing spacers at the corners, make sure they're pushed home so that they're totally hidden by the grout. If you drop adhesive onto a tile, use your damp sponge or cloth to wipe it off immediately. The adhesive will be very hard to remove once it's set. Scrape off excess adhesive from around your field tiles too.
Right, so we fixed the wall, all the field tiles. So where do I start with the edging tiles?
We'll start here in the corner, but don't just measure up one space and assume that all the edging tiles will be the right size all along the wall, because most walls are not vertical. So it's better to measure and cut each tile separately.
I understand that it's very important to measure accurately. Is there a foolproof technique?
Well, there's more than one way. You can use a tape measure and measure the top and bottom of the tile and transfer that onto the tile to be cut.
Right.
Or there's another method, which I prefer. Take a whole tile lay it on top of the last tile in the row, making sure it's accurately aligned. Then place another tile on top and butt this tile up to the wall.
Right.
If you're not going to be tiling on this wall, then leave a spacer's width against the wall.
Right.
If you are going to be tiling up to the wall, then you can just butt it right up to the wall and then measure from there.
Okay.
So you then use your tile marker and draw a line like so. This is the tile you're going to be cutting.
Right.
Take your tiles away and then cut along that line. Any slight adjustments can be made with a tile file.
Right.
And then make sure that it fits.
Great.
So here's our first cut tile, and as you can see, it fits nicely into place.
That's really good. But there's actually not a lot of room in that corner to apply the adhesive. Shouldn't we use a smaller notch spreader?
There's no need. All we do is to use the narrow edge of the spreader, as you can see there, and apply the adhesive directly to the back of the tile.
Right.
Like so. And then press the tile into place. Right, and don't forget to put the spacer into place as well. There, that's the tile in place. Would you like to have a go at the second one?
Yeah, should I put these gloves on?
Yes, please. There's the second tile. That's the edge that fits against the wall. That's it, just spread a little bit along fairly
Is that
flat.
enough?
That should be enough.
Okay.
And then nice and firm. That's the way. Good. Just drop the excess off out of the way.
Shall I stick it on?
Yes, please. And then drop it into place. And don't forget to put the spacers.
Is that okay?
That's fine.
Should I clean it up with the sponge now?
Yes.